Well, we can go ahead and get started with those who are here, and as others join, we will introduce them. Good evening, and welcome to the League of Women Voters Greater Birmingham Meet Your Legislators event. My name is Scotty McClaney, and I have the pleasure of being your host for this evening. We are live on YouTube. As a reminder, recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League. The League will only allow audio and video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by the media reporting on this event. The League of Women Voters is a grassroots nonpartisan political organization that has fought since 1920 to improve our systems of government and impact public policy through citizen education and advocacy. Tonight, we have with us the Jefferson and Shelby County delegates. And this delegation is the largest, I think, in our state. I believe I have that correct. I also want to thank Representative Hollis for partnering with us to get me the information to reach out to each one of you. So thank you, Representative Hollis, for helping us do that. I will introduce those who are with us thus far. And like I said, as the others join, we will introduce them. From House District 47, we have Representative Mike Shaw. From House District 15, we have Representative Lee Halsey. From House District 58, we have Representative Verlonda Hollis. And from House District 57, we have Representative Patrick Sellers. So we'll go ahead and get started. One of the things that we thought would be very knowledgeable to your constituents in your areas is, our first question is, which committees are you serving on this session, and what do you hope your committee will achieve? I will start with Representative Shaw because I know he's in a crisis there.
Yeah, probably going to have to thank you so much. First of all, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting us and including us. So the committees I'm on are my name is Mike Shaw, District 47, which is Central, Hoover, and Vestavia Hills, all up and down 31 in that area. I'm on the State Government Committee. That is I don't want to call it a catch-all committee, but it gets a lot of things that don't fit other places. State government is kind of a general term. We get a lot of bills, and so really you never know what's going to come through there. And so what I would say for that committee is I hope we pass the good bills and block the bad bills. I mean, that's kind of what we do there. There's all sorts of things that come through there. I'm also on banking and finance, or financial services, some people call it. That has to do with banks and financial institutions, credit unions, things like that. We don't get a lot of bills through there. It's usually very specific, and it's usually something that has been put together and crafted very carefully. So I don't know specifically anything we'll get this year in that committee. We're also on ethics and finance. I'm on this with Miss Representative Halsey. We're both on that. Ethics and finance. Last year we had to put a lot of work into an ethics reform bill that I thought was a good thing, and it passed the House. I got to the Senate with some of the other things going on, just kind of ran out of time. I hope we pick that back up. I haven't heard that we will or won't, but our ethics law in Alabama, there's a lot of issues with it that need to be fixed, and it's for everybody, not just us, but also our citizens. We want people should know that the laws are well done and address the needs, make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do and not doing what they're not supposed to do. And so ethics and finance, I hope we get another shot at that bill. Also in the Jefferson County, which I know Representative Hollis and Sellers will agree is with me is the best county delegation. I know Ms. Halsey can't, but we have a lot of fun and there's always something going on in the county delegation. So, but yeah, those are my committees. Can I go ahead and talk about legislation?
Go ahead. We'll go ahead.
Yeah. So one thing that's interesting. So I'm a tech guy by day, so I do technology work, and this year is the first year this will be my third session, so people have kind of figured out that that's my background. So I have a lot of people bringing me kind of agency bills and things related to technology, information security, cybersecurity, and so there's gonna be a lot of wonky, boring technology bills that I'll probably be working on. We will, and that'll probably come through state government because, like I said, state government has all sorts of things to go through there. Also, with the interest with the change in administration in DC, there's a lot more interest in blockchain and Bitcoin, things like that. I think we're going to see a lot of bills related to cryptocurrencies, and so I will probably have at least one or two of those. We'll see what it all specifically looks like. Everything's changing so quickly in that front. But the other thing, we have workforce development. This will actually possibly come through the Jefferson County delegation. The home builders are really struggling to find people who can do electrical, HVAC, plumbing, things like that. The workforce is aging, and they're having a hard time finding people. But there's also a lot of people out there who want to make a career change into something that's very rewarding and pays really well. So we're coming up with an academy that will help connect those dots and bring these workers in to get trained in these well-paying fields, and also help keep housing costs low, so we don't have to pay people $10,000 to put in pipes or on air conditioning, things like that. So we were originally going to do that as a local bill in Jefferson County. There may be something statewide coming that would cover that, so we wouldn't have to do it in Jefferson County. So that's something interesting that's coming out. And there's a couple other little things. Everything's just now starting to settle in for bills, and I'm excited to see what all we can get into.
Okay. For our listening audience, that second part of the question that Representative Shaw answered was, what are your main legislative priorities in this session? I will go now to Representative Sellers and start with that very same question. Which committees are you serving on this session, and what do you hope your committee will achieve?
So we're on the insurance, also the commerce and small business, as well as local legislation, as well as in the local delegation. We have several bills that have been pre-filed. One is a joint custody bill, which would make joint custody the default judgment when a couple decides to divorce. It's about family time sharing. Also compared to that, or competitive with that, also is a good dad bill when you have a child out of wedlock, which try to move toward more of a 50-50 sharing of time. One of the statistical things that we know and have been shared is that especially when one spouse or one parent is either divorced or split, or don't have as much time with the children as needed. So a divorced parent will move from every day to 4 days a month, which is lopsided. We also have pre-filed cell phone ban bill in K through 12 from bell to bell. And that's a heavy distraction within our students, distracting them from their learning. And I think as a local piece of legislation to put a civil penalty on if you're caught with Glock switches. And so we look forward to this session and to see where everything goes.
Okay. Representative Hollis, same question. What are your committees that you're serving on this session, and what do you hope your committee will achieve?
Okay, my committees are, I'm on economic development and tourism. I'm also on transportation, utilities, and infrastructure committee. I'm also the ranking minority on economic development and tourism. I'm also on joint transportation committee. I'm on management of state-owned and leased real property committee. I'm also the vice chair of Jefferson County delegation, the first woman to ever hold this position. And I'm also on ports, waterways, and intermodal transit committee. And I'm sorry if the mute is loud. I'm trying to talk louder than it, but some of the bills that I'm bringing is, I have one that's the Women's Care Act. And what that is, you all know that I concentrate highly on women and children. And what this bill does is women that's getting ready to be incarcerated, that if they're pregnant, then they don't have to do their time to after they've had the baby, going through postpartum and all that good stuff. I'm doing a bill on heated tobacco, which is a tobacco that helps smokers to stop smoking. Okay. And I'm also carrying the Crown Act. I was chosen by Dove Soap to carry the Crown Act, which means that a person cannot be discriminated on how they wear their hair, because everybody's hair is not the same. And I'm also carrying a real estate bill for the Alabama Real Estate Commission. And I got a couple of local bills. So those are some of the bills that I will be moving forward with this coming session. And what was your other question? And thank you all for having me. Thank you so much for asking me to help you get this together and all that good stuff. And what was the other question?
The second part was just what did you hope that your committees will achieve? That was the second part to the same question about your committees.
I hope not just the committees, but we as a whole, the 105 of us, is able to pass bills that would help everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of color, regardless of party, and that we can come together and do something good that would help all of our communities. So that's what I want to see happen.
Representative Halsey, I ask you the same question. Which committees are you serving on this session, and what do you hope those committees will achieve?
Well, I will echo what my colleagues have said here and just say thank you so much for the invitation tonight. I sincerely appreciate that. The committees that I serve on are, you'll see some overlap here with our amazing Jefferson County delegation, ethics and campaign finance, ports, waterways, and intermodal transit, transportation, utilities, and infrastructure. And then I serve on the Shelby County Legislation Committee and the Jefferson County Legislation Committee. As for, I guess, my hope for all of our committees, and I will say that I don't look to a committee specifically that I serve on to like, what is it going to do? What are my hopes for it? Sometimes you are on committees that you're very well equipped to kind of oversee legislation that would come through there, but it might not actually be a passion point of yours. I tend to fall in a space where I'm really passionate about children, education, special needs, and healthcare. And as you can tell, I'm not on any of those committees. So I think, kind of to echo what Representative Hollis said, I think that and I believe really my fellow gentlemen colleagues here mentioned this too. I just remember Representative Hollis saying it most recently, is that we hope that we prevent bad legislation, right? Sometimes our job isn't just to pass stuff, it's to kill stuff, and prevent those things that we feel like would be detrimental to our population, our district, or our state, and kind of vet those and see to it that they don't see the light of day. So I just hope that all of our committees have the wisdom and discernment to really see those things for what they are, the good and the bad, and everything in between, and that we weigh and measure those things well and effectively, and with, I guess, just success on both sides of that. Do you want me to go ahead and go into my legislations too, or do you want to wait and let Representative Datcher go?
Yes, we'll wait. Just give me just a moment. We have joining us is Representative Datcher from House District 52. And thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, good evening. Sorry I was late. We had a little homework issue we had to finish up before I could get on.
That's important. That's very important. I don't know. I know this will be your first session, if that's correct.
Yes.
Have you been asked to serve on any committees at this point, or I'll let you share?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for the invitation, first and foremost. But yeah, the committees they were exciting. I was very appreciative of the speaker for some really good assignments. I feel like constitutions, campaigns, and elections is probably one of the more exciting ones. I'm also serving on the County and Municipal Government Committee. So a lot of the local legislation and the authorities. So with the lack of home rule, the local municipalities have to come to the state for specific authorities to do what they need to do. And so that's exciting, as well as the Insurance Committee, which covers a number of things that impact our economy and the health and well-being of our communities. And of course, I also serve on the Jefferson County Delegation Committee.
Okay. Wonderful. All right, now we will go into our second question. What are your main legislative priorities in this session? And I will start with you, Representative Shaw. No, Representative Halsey, I apologize.
That is certainly not a problem. All right, so there's going to be some overlap here too, and I think this might. Usually, this is the hard part about legislation is we all come up with great ideas, and then some of us have duplications of those ideas. So, Patrick, in advance, I'm sorry. Last year, I actually filed two bills that were really important to me that I did not get across the finish line. One of them was 3Qing, and it bans 3Qing in our public school systems, K through 12. It died in the Senate on the last day. And so I'm hopeful that will get passed this year, but that's one of my two that will be a carryover. And the other one is a cell phone ban. So last year I had taken a cell phone ban. Mine does a little bit more. It goes a little bit further. And essentially what it does is it will also require schools to adopt policies related to protecting student data, and their internet safety. Basically, their internet safety policy has to protect students' data, but it also has to it requires a curriculum. I'm not talking a whole new class, but a curriculum is implemented that teaches them about the bullying online, how to report that, the permanency of posting, and a various multitude of other topics. But essentially, both of those are in this piece of legislation. So I'm hopeful that I get that across the finish line this year. Got it out of committee last year and actually delayed it myself on the floor because I had two other bills that I was really close to getting finished. So hopefully I will have some success with those this year. The other two that I have filed, one would actually look at it will look at any board of education, whether it's county or city, but primarily what probably prompted this was some city stuff going on. But it would require boards of education to acquire property through annexation before they purchase and develop land. Currently, they don't have to do that because they're viewed as a state entity. But essentially what you end up having are local municipalities have this authority to just walk into another city and take land, develop it right now as it is, and it's not theirs. And that should not be happening. As long as the cities can reach a compromise, great. But if the land belongs to a city, it's technically the property of the citizens of that city. And they should be able to take care of that and maintain that unless appropriate action can be or agreement can be reached. And then the last thing would be that we would allow campaign contributions to be used for dependent care while performing the duties of office or while campaigning for office. And so that's what I'm looking at for this session.
That's a good bill for the legislators that got a 2-month-old.
Thank you, dear. Great minds, great minds.
Wonderful. We have joining us is Representative Gavan, who is House District 60. And I'm going to take a step back with you, Representative Gavan, and give you an opportunity to tell us which committees are you serving on this session and what do you hope those committees will achieve?
I am on first of all, Dr. Scotty. Let me make sure I put this handle on your name. First of all, congratulations to you and your success. Very proud of you and everything that you're doing and that you have done. I am trying to get back to the screen. However, hold on one second. I'm not sure if I'm on or not. And I don't have my glasses on. I'm actually on 2 other meeting calls. So I'm going to have to dash in just a second. But I wanted to keep my word. So can you hear me, Scotty?
I can hear you. We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I just did. Okay. I don't understand that, but let's see. Okay, but anyway, so
Okay.
I am on the Constitution, election, and campaigns, the fiscal responsibility, and of course the Jefferson County delegation itself. I am 15 years in now in the House of Representatives, and I have a number of bills from human trafficking bills. Of course, I have a bill dealing with the bump stops. That is a local bill, as well as another gun bill that will add criminal penalties for the illegal possession of a gun. We have a lot of issues going on in the city of Birmingham, as well as other cities here in the state of Alabama. So there was a clarion call made with regards to that. I also have as I mentioned, the human trafficking bill. I have a bill that will impact the sunset with the cosmetology board, dealing with estheticians that they're, of course, makeup artists that are out there. I have a pumping bill dealing with breast, uh, a mother being able to take a reasonable amount of time, which of course this became a federal law a few years ago. And we're just going to come in line with the federal law to allow nursing mothers to nurse without penalty of leave time. There are some companies that are so situated in which, if you're going to have to go nurse, they have to take, if it's 10, 15 minutes, you could possibly be docked for that. And I'm also going to make an amendment to that to incorporate this concern over jury duty and those mothers who may be nursing or what have you. So, like I said, it's a multitude of bills and legislation that I have. So, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to get most of that legislation out this year. I'm going to focus in a lot on those main bills, but for right now, those are the main bills. But I have about 5 or 6 more sponsored in.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Representative, let's see, where are we? Representative Hollis, did you share with us your legislative priorities for this session?
I think I did. My priorities is for us to come together and have unity and just make sure that we get out some legislation that's good for everybody, regardless to, who you are, what color you are, what party you are. And it's to help mankind, everybody.
That is a great priority, by the way.
Thank you.
Representative Datcher, I know you're just going in, but what are your priorities going into this session?
Well, first, to make sure I know where I'm supposed to park when I get there. That's kind of I gotta find that. But really want to personally want to make sure I develop some really meaningful relationships with colleagues that I really spend time listening and learning from the folks who have served ably down there representing this community and others. But in terms of specific legislation, there are 2 things that are important that I'm interested in. And one is there's a 2013 Attorney General's opinion that excludes some city employees from programs operated by a municipality if they work for that municipality. So we'd like to get some clarity with that, with some legislation, so that, for instance, first responders particularly can make sure that they benefit from CDBG or other programs that a city might offer, in order to ensure, as long as they meet the other requirements of that program, whether it's income or residency, what have you, that employees of a municipality won't be penalized for working for the municipality, but can also benefit from that program as well. The other one is to bring back something I think that Representative Lipscomb did last year, which was unauthorized drop-off. So what you see sometimes is surrounding larger municipalities, some of their neighbors will pick up folks who are homeless or unsheltered and bring them and drop them off in the city center of the larger communities. And so that's something that Mobile has been experiencing, from people coming from the Panhandle and also from Mississippi being dropped in the downtown Mobile. We know that, for instance, right here in Birmingham, that surrounding municipalities have had police officers and others drop off folks who they picked up on the side of the road or interstates or whatever, and just drop them off here in the middle of the city of Birmingham, which just stretches the city's resources for dealing with the folks who we're already engaged with trying to support. So You know, it's just an opportunity to bring other folks to the table. So if they have homeless folks or unsheltered folks in their communities, that they become invested in kind of identifying responsibility, answers and solutions, and not just dropping them off on another municipality next to them that may be providing some services.
So that is a real issue. I heard of that, but to hear you talk about it, so it is an issue after all. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And congratulations as well. I want to join in with Representative Gavan on getting your doctorate. My wife got hers earlier in the year, and I know what a sacrifice that is for you, but also for everybody around you. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Representative Sellers,
Yes.
will you please share with us your legislative priorities going into this session?
Oh, I did. I talked about the cell phone ban, the
Okay.
Good Dad bill, the joint custody bill, the civil penalty on Glock switch.
Now, what's the joint custody? You said joint custody bill?
So joint custody makes joint custody a default judgment when a couple divorces.
Okay.
So it moves to a more of a 50-50 sharing of time, so that the children will have the same amount of time with both parents.
Okay.
Right now, it's not a default. It's not default. It's way down the list. And so so many times parents are diluted to 4 days a month instead of 4 days a month versus 26 days. And so that's that every other weekend thing. And so you can't actually have full parenting if it's just every other weekend or 4 days a month.
Okay. Representative Gavan, I believe you shared with us your legislative priorities. Is that correct?
Well, I think you didn't say priorities. You asked me the legislation that I was carrying, but so I didn't know if that was meant priorities. So I guess I can answer again. Those were the pieces of legislation that I have. But for me, when I look at my priorities, no differently than 2010 when I came in, the main thing needs to always be and should be the main thing. And for me, that is to be a voice, to be a vessel and a leader for the people. And so for me, I'm going to continue to fight the good fight, do the will of those who sent me to work, and just keep it moving. And what I always say, no bridge that I've crossed that I choose or choose not to cross back over. As long as I'm doing it for the right, I'm good. So I'm going to keep that motto and keep it going and just find another way to get across to the other side. That's it.
All right.
So,
Thank you so much.
mhm.
Representative Halsey, I think you answered that one for us, your legislative priorities. Is that correct? Just making certain.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, and our last question, and you may have touched on this already, but we're just going to touch on it again, so that those who are watching have the correct answers to the question. Are you sponsoring or co-sponsoring any bills this time? And I will go with Representative Hollis. Okay, she may be in position that she can't answer. Representative Sellers, those were your two,
It was about 3 or 4 bills. Yeah.
about 3 or 4 bills, okay. And Representative Halsey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said can you repeat that question? What is the priority?
No. This one is, are you sponsoring or co-sponsoring any bills going into this
okay.
session?
I'm sorry. I don't know. That kind of just depends. Truthfully, throughout the session, people will bring stuff and they'll ask. And I think really what's most important for me is to vet something before I just blanketly say, yes, I'm going to co-sponsor things. So I'm not a big fan of co-sponsoring, but when I believe in something, I will darn sure put my name on it. And I'm usually fine with anyone that wants to co-sponsor my stuff. I don't tend to have any objection to anyone doing that. I know sometimes some individuals like to do that and then just ask for co-sponsors at the end, but it doesn't, at the end of the day, really, like, name is not important to me. What is important to me is, are we doing good work? So if we're if people want to co-sponsor or I see value in someone's piece of legislation, I'm going to support it if they're asking me to. So we'll see.
Okay, wonderful. That's good to know. Representative Datcher, anything you can share with us going into this session?
Yes, ma'am. Representative Clark is going to be sponsoring a voting rights bill that really pushes and expands for voter right protections and really puts the state in an aggressive posture, encouraging more Alabamians to participate in the voting process and protecting the rights of those who are in that process. So that's one bill I'm very happy to co-sponsor, and I think she has quite a few co-sponsors, but it's really exciting. That was the first thing I was able to put my name to it, because I don't think there's anything more important in a democratic society than protecting and preserving the right to vote.
Great. Wonderful. Representative Hollis, is she back with us? Okay, she may be still having to.
Okay, here I am. Excuse me. Okay, here I am. I'm telling them,
okay.
excuse me. What you
Sorry.
need, baby?
I was just asking, are you sponsoring or co-sponsoring any bills going into the session?
Yes, I am, but I can't give you the names of all of them. I did give you the names of some of them in the beginning. The Women's Care Act that I mentioned, the Crown Act, a real estate bill by the Real Estate Commission. I have a few local bills that I'm carrying that I'd rather not mention right now. And I can't, it's another bill, but I can't think of the name of it. So yes, I'll be carrying quite a few bills this session.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as we're nearing we still have more time, but I will ask each of you, is there something that the constituents need to know about going into this session that maybe I should have asked, or you think that's important, you want us to be on the lookout or aware of as you get ready to go into this session? I will start with Representative Halsey.
This is probably not the most traditional advice you get, but I am a really, really big believer in talking to your elected official and not trusting the media. And I don't care what media it is. I think some of them do a really great job, and I think some of them honestly don't do such a great job. But here's the thing, we work in this day in and day out, and our job is to provide you with information, make sure that you understand what is before us, so that you can share what your thoughts and opinions are on how you'd like to see us vote based on accurate information. And oftentimes I can read 4 different outlets about a piece of legislation, and all 4 of them have something wrong in it. And I've noticed that over my years in public service, people will call and they'll be worked up over things that either an ordinance or a bill simply do not do. And so I just like to encourage people to read the bill and talk to whomever it is that is there to represent your vote. And that, honestly, if I could change anything about our process, it would be that. But aside from that, I just say get involved and stay connected to those of us that serve you. It's really helpful for us, and hopefully it's helpful for you as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for that comment. Representative Sellers, ask you the same question. Is there something that maybe we should have asked or that you want your constituents to know as you get ready to go in this session, what they should be looking for? Or
I mean, I did know what Representative Halsey said, instead of getting your information from the media, talk to your elected officials. If there's concerns, have that engagement with the elected officials. Media will always put some level of spin to whatever they report. And so you get your best information from the source. And so that's what I would say.
and let me ask this question while you're saying from the source, which I know is you as the representative. What's the best way for your constituents to reach out to you? Is that going to be via phone call, letter, or email?
Yeah, phone call, email. We get tons of emails from constituents all the time. So tons of email, and I read every email. I answer my phone. I respond to text messages.
Okay.
So that for me, that's the best route. It's just
Okay.
contact.
What about you, Representative Datcher?
I just hope that, when, I can, stay away from the kind of the emotion of the moment, because, being new, I can see myself, finding ways to get caught up into important issues and just being able to step back, take a deep breath, rely on colleagues. I'm fortunate to have, particularly in the Jefferson County delegation, some really experienced folks who have done great work here that I can lean on. So, just want to make sure that, that I'm thoughtful about kind of how I approach ideas, and that I'm, an excellent listener, but also that I'm very measured in kind of what I say and do, understanding the grave impact and the very large impact that these roles have. And I also want to spend a lot of time making sure that I bring back information to the district and beyond, and making sure people understand really the importance of these roles, and how much I appreciate, and I'm really overwhelmed by the honor of being able to serve alongside these great folks.
And the best way to reach you is going to be all sorts of.
I mean, you got it, social media, text, phone, email, however people reach out. I got kids, and my 12-year-old daughter's probably better on social media than in my cell phone than I am, but I'm pretty good. I hang in there. So anyway, folks, whatever method or platform is comfortable for folks, I'm here and ready to receive and respond.
Okay, great. All right, Representative Gavan, is there anything I should have asked, or we should have asked, or that we should know going into this session to be, aware of, that you just want to share with us?
I came in late, and I'm literally on 2 other calls, and I have another meeting in a moment, so I'm kind of in and out. No, I don't think so. My take, as it relates to communication, my take on it is a little bit different. I do rely on the media. I always have. You know, my thing is, you always speak truth to power. If you speak truth to power, regardless if the media is reporting it or not, the realization is when you study what you are speaking on, you study the facts, you review your bills, you go through them with the fine-tooth comb, it doesn't matter what the optic of the media. I've always believed that truth crushed to the ground will rise, as Dr. Martin Luther King once said. And the reality of it is we are elected officials, and regardless if the camera's there or not, if we're doing our job and our due diligence, that's going to show anyway. And then you're dealing with a diverse group of people that you represent, from all races, all ethnic backgrounds, as well as religious as well, and of course political backgrounds. So it just comes with the territory. I don't get all up in the air if my constituency base thinks one thing or another. All I do is I try my best to always just speak the truth. And then they have to decide, as my good friend, Judge J. Richmond Pearson would always say, bring it to the center of the floor, and the truth will always reveal itself. And so for me, I welcome the media, because not everybody is going to be able to know exactly what we're doing in Montgomery. So at least it begs for a conversation. For me, how do they get in contact with me? Some days I'm trying to figure out how do they not, because I've already added an additional line at the office, because I get a whole lot beyond commentary. And so, that's just a part of it. So I welcome it all, but always email, just calling down to Montgomery. They always figure out a way to find you somewhere or another. But for me, again, it just comes with the territory, and it could just be because I've been there so long now. So yeah, I don't, get all uptight about that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to throw one additional question or opinion that I'd like to hear from each one of you. What are your ideas or your thoughts as you go into this session regarding the early voting? What are your thoughts there? Representative Datcher, I'll start with you.
allowing early voting.
Yes.
I think it's an extraordinary idea. It's been done in a safe and secure way all across the country. Any way that we can find ways to increase people's participation in our democracy has to be, something that we all welcome. I mean, we see that it's fortunately what happened at the national levels. We saw, the Republican Party begin to embrace it this year, and you saw the surge in participation they got from some of their voters in that. So hopefully now it's just a universal. Hopefully there's now a universal appeal to expanding the opportunities for people to participate in the process. I mean, when people vote, they are more likely to be, conscientious members of and contributing members to their community. We know that they tend to be, they'll, do a better job of taking care of their yard. They'll make sure that they're involved in the PTA, and so when people vote, that is the most important way that they can, secure their place in our democracy. And so the more that we can, and incentivize and assist people in participating in voting, I'm all for it.
Thank you for that. Representative Halsey?
I think for me, it's going to be a piece of legislation that I just have to see. So there's not anything I feel like I really can commit to. I'm not opposed to the idea of it. It's what does that look like? So it's one of the, and there's a lot of legislation that's like that. Ultimately it's the devil's in the details of everything. And so that's what I want to see. I want to see what it is, and it's got to be vetted based on what it is, and that will ultimately help me make up my mind. So I know that's kind of a non-answer, but it's also the honest to God truth.
That's right. It's your answer, so it's fine. Representative Sellers?
I am really for not only just early voting, but we should be voting from our cell phones now. We have technology. It's there. I believe wholeheartedly one of the reasons you have so low voter turnout is that you're not able to accommodate various times for people to go and vote. And so, let's make voting as accessible as we possibly can. So I'm all for it. I believe it would increase the percentage of people that go vote because it gives them other opportunities to go and cast their vote.
Thank you for that. Representative Gavan?
Of course, I always would support early voting. Um, what we saw in the 2024 election was there was a surge because of certainly of an urgency of now type of situation. The current president, of course, was very skeptical about it. And even with that, I was surprised to see the number of Republicans that did embrace early voting. For me, whether it's early voting, I don't necessarily know about this thing about voting on cell phones. I think we should always, I do believe in protecting the integrity of the election system. So for me, as long as it is a system where people can go vote, in person, or if it's absentee voting or what have you, then absolutely, yeah. But I don't have a problem with the concept of voting, early voting.
Okay. Thank you for that. Representative Hollis, what's your idea or your thoughts with regards to the early voting as you get ready to go into this session?
I am all for early voting and ditto to a lot what my colleagues have said. And I think it's past time. We so behind, and that's why they call us Alabackwers, because of voter suppression. And I think that it's time for it. And we need to join forces with other states and make things happen, because voting is not just for Republicans, it's not just for Democrats, it's not just for independent. Voting is for everybody. And everyone has that right to vote. So whether it's early voting or Saturday voting or whatever is deserved in every state, and including Alabama.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you each for that for your answers on that particular item that's we know is going to probably be a hot topic going into this session. Well, I don't have anything else. Is there anything else before we part from you that you want to share with us, or have I basically kind of covered it all? Not covered it all, but got a good synopsis of what the session will look like going into starting in February.
I just want to say thank you for doing this. Huntsville has always done an event like this. So I just want to say thank you for calling me, and thank you for putting this all together and having all of us on this, because I think it means a lot, and it get all of our word out on everything that we're doing. So I want to thank you thank all of you for the time, and for putting this together, and to look at what we're doing. And so, because each and every one of us is one of 105. And so when we come out with these different bills that we're carrying, we're going to need each of you in order to support what we're doing. And it means a lot when you're out here supporting what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Scotty McClammy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Representative Halsey, Sellers, or Datcher, do you have anything you want to add before we part ways?
I'll just
Ditto.
echo. Sorry, would you like to go first, Patrick?
I just said ditto.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I'll just say I would have to agree with, at this point now, Representative Sellers and Hollis. So thank you very much.
Thank you again. Thank each of you for being here. Representative Datcher, anything before you raise your head up?
Yeah, my thought is really something that's not necessarily in the legislature's hands, but I hope that we can be influential in encouraging the governor to take a real strong look at the Affordable Care Act. We know that there are at least 2 to 3 dozen hospitals that may be closing in this state over the next 2 to 3 years. If we don't find a way to embrace the Affordable Care Act, 41 states have already done it. And none of those states, including Republican majority states, have come back and say it's the wrong thing to do. The numbers show us that it will be the largest economic impact event in the history of the state of Alabama, well beyond a single investment of Mercedes or any of those major things. 10,000 jobs in 18 months or so, and really stabilizes the healthcare economy for the entire state of Alabama. It closes the access gap, and it ensures that, for instance, women can begin to have access to OBGYNs, and so many hospitals have lost their delivery services. Some folks have to drive 2 hours to get somewhere to just deliver a baby. So I'm hopeful that we can find a way to work with the governor's office so they'll sign that waiver and they can begin to embrace the Affordable Care Act, no matter what that looks like: Medicaid expansion, public-private partnership. But we need to be able to take advantage of those federal resources that we already send money to DC to support.
Wonderful. Well, again, we want to thank each of you for taking time to visit with us tonight on this event. All were invited, but just to let the constituents know, they may have had scheduling conflicts, or something may have come up. So I do want to say I did get acceptance from everyone, but we know things happen. So again, thank you so much for being here. This is being recorded live, and so you can like, share, and follow us on Facebook. And we welcome your feedback as to this particular event for tonight. And we thank you, and good luck going into this session. We'll be watching, as you go through your day-to-day committees and what have you. So again, thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.